Welcome back to my channel. Here I am going to explain you how an ER diagram convert to a relational schema. First I am going to convert all the entities into relational schema. Here I have taken strong entity and also weak entity. Here there are 3 strong entities and 1 weak entity. This is officer relational schema. This is the key attribute. We should take key attributes as primary key in the relational schema. Here only 1 key attribute. If there are more key attributes, we should take all key attributes as composite primary keys here. It should be underlined. Okay. Now this is stored attribute and this is derived attribute. We should not include derived attribute into relational schema so that we should take only stored attribute here. I have mentioned that in my derived attribute video. Next, this phone number and address here. This is composite attribute. We should take this first name and surname here. Now I have completed all the attributes in this officer entity itself. Next we go to see the relationship side. Here this is one-to-many relationship. We should take primary key of the one side into the many side. Here division ID in the division entity should be taken into the officer relationship because officer relation is in the many side. This is descriptive attribute. This descriptive attribute should also be taken into the many side. Next, this is one-to-one relationship. In one-to-one relationship, we should take primary key of any side into another side. Okay. In this relational schema, I did not take this division ID into officer side. This is many-to-many relationship. When mapping many-to-many relationship, we should write relational schema for both entities and one schema for the relationship so that no any attribute comes into this officer relational schema from this relationship or entity. Then this is also one-to-many relationship. This is weak entity side and also this is the one side. So any one of the attribute will not come into this officer relational schema. Okay. Now I have completed the officer relational schema. Now let's go to division entity. Here this is the key attribute. So I mentioned here the primary key, division ID. I have underlined it. Then address. This is the address attribute. Location is the multi-valued attribute. So that we should not include this multi-valued attribute into this division relational schema. Instead of that we should go into new relational schema to mention the locations. I have done how to map multi-valued attribute in my another video. Then let's go to see the relationship side. Here this is one-to-many relationship and this is one side. So no attributes comes from this officer entity here. This is one-to-one relationship. When we write officer relational schema, we did not take this division ID on this manager's relationship. Okay. So we should take this NIC number into division relational schema like this because this is on manager's relationship. We should take this NIC number as manager NIC. Okay. This is a descriptive attribute. So this manager start. So that this manager start date should be included into this relational schema like this. Again when we go to the relationship, so no attributes come from this many side into one side in the division relationship. So finish writing division relational schema also. Now let's go to map this multi-valued attribute into the relational schema. This is the name I have taken, division location. You can take any name as you wish. This location ID and locations should be put into composite attribute into the multi-valued attribute mapping. That also finished. Now this task entity mapping. Now this key attribute task number here, primary key task number in the task relational schema. This task name here. Let's turn into the relationship side. Here this is a many side. So we have to take this division ID into this task relational schema. Here that division ID I have mentioned here as a foreign key. But this side is a many to many side. So no attribute comes from here. Now finish task relational schema also. When we write relational schema to the many to many relationship, we should include both entities primary key into the relational schema as composite primary key. Here NIC number and in this task entity task number is the primary key. Here I have taken NIC number and task number both composite attribute. I underlined it, NIC number and task number together. Okay. This start date descriptive attribute should also be included into this relationship. Okay. Last one, mapping this weak entity. Here this weak entity is in the one-to-many relationship. So when we write relational schema, we should take the strong entity's primary key with the weak entity's partial key together as the composite attribute into the weak entity's relational schema. Here dependent, this weak entity's name, NIC number and name. NIC number is in the officer entity's primary key and name is the weak entity's partial key. Here I have underlined NIC number and name. This sex attribute, birth date and relation attributes also included here. Okay, if you want to make any clarification about this ER diagram, please put a comment under the comment section. And also this is a new channel. So subscribe it, like this video and click on the bell icon. Next day I will bring you very important video for you.